Hey everyone, Leo Bond here. I'm back again today, and this time it's with a look at the enormously popular Fidget Cube. And this is the authentic Fidget Cube, so not a cheap knockoff. It's the one from Antsy Labs, or rather a collaborative edition between Antsy Labs and another toy company called Zuru that is basically mass producing them, probably through a special licensing arrangement or something like that, at least the nearest I can figure out. But anyway, since Antsy Labs is involved and they are the originators of the Fidget Cube concept, they invented this thing, that does make this an authentic Fidget Cube, if that matters to you. And of course, Antsy Labs, they're the folks that had the extremely successful Kickstarter campaign to initially fund production of these things, and I believe they raised something like $6.4 million, so just crazy successful. But anyway, I actually found this at my local Walmart, and what was interesting about that is that when I stopped at the Walmart, it was about 6 o'clock in the evening, and there was maybe 15 or 20 of these things in stock at the time, but I didn't pick one up right away because I wasn't quite sure if it was the authentic one or not, and I wanted to check that out at home. And so within about 3 hours, I came back to pick it up, and at that point, they only had 6 of them left in stock. And, you know, I actually came back early the next morning just to check and just to see for fun, and actually they had sold out by then. So these things really sell like hotcakes, and, you know, if you're interested in one and you happen to see it in the store, don't wait, you know, grab it right away. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait for them to restock, or you'll probably end up ordering it online or something like that. But anyway, I just want to quickly show its 6 different sides and how you can go about fidgeting with it. And I also wanted to remind everyone of the enormous health benefits of fidgeting, which of course includes the mental health benefit of stress and anxiety reduction. So these things are especially good for people with high stress jobs like office work, where you can fidget some of your frustrations away while you work, and you're not really bothering anyone too much because they are relatively quiet, although not entirely. And they shouldn't really be all that much of a distraction to others that you work with for the most part. But anyway, since I talked somewhat extensively about the benefits of fidgeting in my video review of the UFO hand spinner, that's another fidgeting toy that I covered here on the channel a few weeks ago, I'll invite you to watch that video instead to get the bigger picture with respect to the excellent value of fidgeting. It's not a long video, and I do cover a good bit of information in it. You can see a little clip from it playing there right now, and I'll just put a direct link to it in the description box below just in case you want to take a look. But anyway, before we go through all of the different ways to use the Fidget Cube, I just wanted to give its weight, which comes in at 35 grams, and I really have to say that this thing is very well made, or at least it feels very well made. It's solid, all of its moving parts are firmly seated, and it also feels like it uses a pretty high quality of plastic, so it really makes a good first impression. Alright, let's just take a look at some of the different ways that you can play with the Fidget Cube here, and we'll start with what has to be the most complex side of this thing, and that is because it's got 2 different types of fidgeting on the same side. First of all, you've got this here stainless steel, well, I believe it to be stainless steel ball bearing, and you can roll that around and it feels nice and smooth, or you can press it in and it makes a little clicking sound there. So that's one, but you've also got these 3 little independent tumblers, and you know, these really put me in mind of those type of combination locks where you have to align the 3 different digits, and when you get the right 3 numbers in there, the lock will open. So that's pretty neat, and this is probably the most complex side of the cube, rivaled only by this side here, which has 2 silent buttons, so these ones in these 2 corners here, they don't make any noise, and 3 buttons that do make a click. And you know, if you're in a classroom or something like that and you don't want to bother anybody, go ahead and use these ones here. But if you're at home or you're somewhere where you're free to make a little bit of noise, click these ones to your heart's content. It is very, very satisfying. Now, this particular side over here, the sort of bare side, it's got this little indent in it, and it's basically like a worry stone. And you know, a lot of people really find this sort of thing soothing. I can't say that it does all that much for me, but I am glad that they included it in the cube here because, you know, it just adds one extra dimension to this thing. And of course, then we have this one here, which, you know, this one really reminds me of winding up a hand wind watch. And if you've ever had a watch that is hand winding, you'll know what I'm saying when I say that that's one of the most satisfying things in the world, to wind one of those up. And you can almost hear, well, I hope you can hear, it's sort of got a very similar sound to winding a watch. So I really, really dig this side. And then, of course, there's the somewhat of a joystick side. I guess that's what it's meant to be. And this one moves all around, pretty much all over the that particular side of the cube. But one thing that I have noticed about it, and that a lot of people are complaining actually about it, is that it's quite flush with the side of the cube, and on a lot of the knockoffs this thing would actually be raised up 2 or 3 millimeters, and that would give it more of a sort of a rockin' motion when you're moving it around, and I think it's a little bit more authentic to a real joystick on some of the knockoffs. So it's a little bit of a shame that they didn't do that here, but not exactly the end of the world. Now, of course, I saved the best for last, and this one here, the light switch one, is my absolute favorite. It's got a very satisfying click to it, very, very loud, but if you want, and you're trying not to bother anyone, you can make it be very quiet as well. Just rock it gently like that. So this one definitely is a favorite for me, and that is the different ways that you can fidget with the Fidget Cube. Okay, just a couple of last minute notes here before we wrap things up. First, the Fidget Cube does come in a variety of different colors. Now, unfortunately for me, there wasn't all that much selection left when I picked mine up, so I ended up getting stuck with pink. Well, whatever. Anyway, the only minor criticism that I'm going to make against the Fidget Cube here is that it can't be packed around quite as easily as, say, the UFO hand spinner, and all I really mean by that is it doesn't really fit that easily in, say, a front or back pants pocket unless you have like cargo pants or something. It's just a little bit bulkier than the spinners, and so not quite as easy to carry around in that way. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say about the Fidget Cube for now. It is worth picking up if you can find one, but if you're not really much of a fidgeter, you may not see a whole lot of point to it, honestly. Now, if you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please give it a like or a share, and subscribe if you enjoy video reviews of toys or tech gadgets. I've always got lots of interesting stuff on the way, and you just never know what might turn up next. Anyway, that's all from me for now, so as always, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Hope to see you back here again the next time. Have an excellent day, and I'll see you soon.